Hi, beautiful people. So oh man, I messed up my title. Oh well, President Trump meets Israeli Prime Minister. I'll have to fix that later. My apologies. And some of you might think, why does Israeli Prime Minister? Yeah, some of you might think, why is this important? But it's all in the attempt to disarm Hamas, right? And we see the success that Donald Trump has had over in Israel with the ceasefire for Gaza and all of that. So I'm gonna watch this with you. Everything I share is for educational phrase purposes only. What's good, Dr. Manhattan? I'm praying that my sound is good. I'm feeling slightly under the weather today, so I'm gonna try to get through this. Also, we had that explosion in Venezuela. I don't know if I'm gonna get to it today, but let's get through this video, okay? Now, let me know if my sound isn't good, please. Where's my video? All right, let me see. Hey, you guys, give me a second. All right, let's get through this.
Oh. A big meeting with a lot of people, a lot of talent from Israel and from the U.S. And I think we came to a lot of conclusions and conclusions. And there's sort of a little difference in what we're looking at and where we want to be, where we want to go. And so I just want to thank you for spending time. I know you're going to be over here for a couple of days, and maybe we'll be surprising us on New Year's Eve.
Yes? Okay, thank you.
And it's wonderful seeing you and Sarah and your whole group. Very talented group. We've done very good work together, and it'll continue. So thank you very much, baby.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
I have to say that.
I'm probably not going to show this, but if you guys want, watch the lunch meeting in Mar-a-Lago before this. It was pretty interesting.
In addition to what I said, that we've never had a friend, even close, a friend, as President Trump in the White House. I think he's been extraordinary in his friendship and his support for Israel, his principled positions, his willingness to just cut through and get to the essence of things. And I don't say that as a compliment. I just mean it. People have heard me say that behind your back, Mr. President, many times. But I want to say something else. I think we have a partnership, if I can quote you, second to none. I think it's allowed us to do enormous things. You know, people said there was a different conception at one time, which means that America can advance its interest in the Middle East if it opens a lot of daylight between it and Israel. And President Trump has done the exact opposite. He's achieved remarkable things in the Middle East because we've worked together. We talk about our ideas. Sometimes we have different ideas, but we work it out. And most of the time we see eye to eye. But it's been a remarkable experience, and this was a very, very productive meeting. And may I say, a very good lunch. Thank you. Thank you for your friendship.
Thank you very much, baby.
And thank you for your support. It's meant from the heart.
If you guys don't mind, I'd rather watch the clip with you guys, and then I'll give my commentary afterwards, all right? So that way you can hear it for yourself.
Thank you. You know, as I said outside, he's been a wartime prime minister, and we were, well, look, I guess I could say I was a wartime president in more places than just Israel, if you think about it. But Israel was a big factor, and we're with you, and we'll continue to be with you. And a lot of good things are happening in the Middle East. We have peace in the Middle East, and we're going to try and keep it that way. I think we will be very successful in keeping it that way. And you've been a great friend, and I've been a great friend to you and to Israel. It's been my honor. And the award that I was given was really surprising and very much appreciated.
Well, President Trump has broken so many conventions to the surprise of people, and then they figure out, oh, well, maybe, he was right after all. So we decided to break a convention too, or create a new one, and that is to award the Israel Prize, which in almost our 80 years, we've never awarded it to a non-Israeli, and we're going to award it this year to President Trump. This was announced formally over lunch by our Minister of Education, who's responsible for the Israel Prize. It's going to be awarded to President Donald J. Trump for his tremendous contributions to Israel and the Jewish people. I think it's such a fitting thing, and it would honor us, obviously, Mr. President, if you could visit Israel in that occasion on our Independence Day. But I have to say that this reflects the overwhelming sentiment of Israelis
Thank you guys for the cash outs. I see you. Thank you so much.
across the spectrum. They appreciate what you've done to help Israel and to help our common battle against the terrorists and those who would destroy our civilization. So, again, that's an expression of thanks and appreciation.
Thank you, baby, very much. That really is a great honor. Any questions, please? We'll go pretty quickly because pretty much we agree on most of the things, and you would know what most of those things are. Please go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd like to know if you and the Prime Minister talked about having Israel pull back its troops before Hamas fully disarms. I know that's been an issue. Did you push for that today?
Well, we talked about Hamas and we talked about disarmament, and they're going to be given a very short period of time to disarm, and we'll see how that works out. Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner will be in charge of that from our side, but if they don't disarm as they agreed to do, they agreed to it, and then they'll be held to pay for them. And we don't want that. We're
Do you guys think that they'll be successful in disarming Hamas?
not looking for that, but they have to disarm within a fairly short period of time.
Is Israel withdrawing its forces?
Well, that's a separate subject. We'll talk about that.
Mr. President,
Yes.
Mr. President, do you have a message for the Prime Minister about the West Bank? And are you at all concerned that Israeli settler violence, could be undermining the peace plan?
Well, we have had a discussion, big discussion for a long time on the West Bank, and I wouldn't say we agree on the West Bank 100%, but we will come to a conclusion on the West Bank.
If I could ask, what is the disagreement?
Well, I don't want to do that. It'll be announced at an appropriate time, but he will do the right thing. I know that. I know him very well. He will do the right thing. Yes.
There is a growing fear of a confrontation between Israel and Turkey. How are you going to ease this tension given the fact that President Erdogan calls Mr. Netanyahu Hitler and compares Israel to the Nazis?
Well, I know President Erdogan very well, and as you all know, he's a very good friend of mine. And I believe that, and I do respect him, and Bibi respects him, and they're not going to have a problem. They're not going to have a problem. I know him very well. And you've seen me do things with President Erdogan and Turkey that nobody else could have done. We're not going to have a problem. He's done a fantastic job. I'm with him all the way. I'm with Bibi all the way. Nothing's going to happen. Yes.
Mr. President, are you concerned that Israel is not moving quickly enough to phase 2 of the peace plan?
Well, I'm not concerned about anything that Israel's doing. I'm concerned about what other people are doing or maybe aren't doing. But I'm not concerned. They've lived up to the plan. They're strong. They're solid. And sometimes they don't understand when somebody violates something that you want to give them a second chance. Well, we'll give them a couple of second chances. But no, Israel's lived up to the plan 100%. Don't forget, we made the plan possible by taking out Iran. And speaking of Iran, I hope they're not trying to build up again, because if they are, we're going to have no choice but very quickly to eradicate that buildup. So I hope Iran is not trying to build up, as I've been reading that they're building up weapons and other things. And if they are, they're not using the sites that we obliterated, but they're using possibly different sites. We know exactly where they're going, what they're doing, and I hope they're not doing it because we don't want to waste the fuel on a B-2. It's a 37-hour trip both ways. I don't want to waste a lot of fuel. Okay?
Mr. President Trump, just after your last remarks regarding the pardon request of Prime Minister Netanyahu, Herzog office told us that you have not talked after the official request of Prime Minister Netanyahu pardon. Can you clarify to us? Did you talk
Which
about
request are you talking about?
it? with the president Herzog, the Israeli president Herzog. Did you talk with him directly?
President Erdogan?
Herzog. The Israeli
So you're
president.
talking about pardon?
Yeah.
Oh, well, you got to say that. No, I think he's going to be in great shape. He's a wartime prime minister at the highest level. He's achieved tremendous success. And I'll say it, if you had 8 out of 10 prime ministers in his position right now, or before right now, maybe, you wouldn't have Israel any longer. Israel would not exist. I'd say two of them would, and 8 of them wouldn't. Those are not good odds. You needed a very special man to really carry through and really help Israel through this horrible jam. These are major factions, and it started with our negotiation with Iran. I think it probably started with Soleimani. That was really where you mentioned that today. It started with Soleimani. Bad guy, doing bad things, hurting a lot of people, killing American soldiers and other soldiers. But it started right there, would probably be the starting point. And then from that point forward, but you have a wartime prime minister at the highest level. There could be other wartime prime ministers, but they'd lose. He won. And I think the people of Israel appreciate it. I think a lot of the people in the world appreciate it, actually. And because of that victory, we were able to get peace in the Middle East. If you had a different kind of a personality, if you had a weak person or a stupid person, and there are plenty of both of them, you would not have had success, and you might not have Israel. And you report for Israel. I know you're very proud of it, and you do a great job. You might not have a job because there might not be an Israel right now if you had a different prime minister. That's a big statement,
right.
But to me, it's a very simple statement to make. I'm looking at Pete Hegseth, and he's sort of nodding. If they don't have a strong prime minister, Pete, you might not have Israel today. I think he'll go down in the record books. And, I was a big help. I'll be honest with you, big help. Somebody said in the room, if you don't have Trump, you needed a proper combination of everything. And if you didn't have that combination, which they had, you would not have an existing Israel right now. And the people of Israel know it. That's why they like me, and it's why they actually like him. He's got a little bit of a love-hate more than I do over there. But you know what? Even the haters have a lot of respect for him. There's a lot of jealousy about him. A lot of jealousy. Jealousy is a bad word. But I believe you would not have Israel right now, so it's a big deal. Yeah, please.
A recent poll shows that as many as half of Gazans would be willing to leave the Gaza Strip if afforded the opportunity to do so. Back in February, you said that all Gazans should be.
I heard that number today, half of Gaza would leave. I've always said it. I said if they were given the opportunity to live in a better climate, they would move. They're there because they sort of have to be. I think it would be a great opportunity, but let's see if that opportunity presents itself. But we're helping the people of Gaza a lot. So is Israel, by the way. So we'll see what happens. But I saw that it was a poll. It was actually more than half the people would leave if they were given the opportunity. And I've been saying that for a long time. To me, it was common sense. So it's interesting.
Why wouldn't countries accept them?
Look, let's not talk about it because we don't want the controversy, right?
Did you guys think Donald Trump would win the Nobel Peace Prize for the work he's doing? I am glad that I'm glad that he was recognized for his work over in Israel. No.
Now we're helping Gaza. But if they were given the opportunity, I think even higher than that, the group that did the poll is usually, I call them negative pollsters. You have a lot of them. And yet this poll was, I think, very accurate, other than it would be more than half the people if given the opportunity, but they haven't been given that opportunity. So we'll see what happens.
Mr. President, did you reach a point of understanding regarding Syria?
We do have an understanding regarding Syria. Now, with Syria, your new president, I respect him. He's a very strong guy, and that's what you need in Syria. You can't put a choir boy. You can't put somebody that's a perfect person. Everything's nice, no problems in life. You have the opposite there. He's a strong guy. We get along with him great. I can't ask for any more. He's been with us all the way. We had that mishap with ISIS, and he was with us all the way. He was fighting us. You know, he was fighting them. So I hope Israel. I'm sure that Israel and him will get along. I will try and make it so that they do get along.
Mr.
I think they will. Bibi, do you have anything to say about that?
Yeah, well, our interest is to have a peaceful border with Syria. Our interest is to have, and we openly say it, we want to make sure that the border area right next to our border is safe. We don't have terrorists, we don't have attacks, and we also want to secure our Druze friends. And by the way, I think not only the Druze, but other minorities, especially the Christians, should be protected as well in Syria and throughout the Middle East and in Nigeria. And your efforts we back completely, because Christian communities are beleaguered around the world and especially in the Middle East, but in parts of Africa too. And we stand for the same thing.
And don't forget, it was President Erdogan that helped very much get rid of a very bad ruler of Syria. That was President Erdogan. And he never wanted the credit for it, but he really gets a lot of credit. Bibi agrees with it. I agree with I mean, I know it. And President Erdogan should get a lot of good credit for what he did. He got rid of some very bad people. And, you know, they've been wanting to do that for 1,000 years with different names, but for 1,000 years in Syria, President Erdogan did it. And we give him a lot of credit. I give him a lot of credit. But I think it's going to work out well between Syria and Israel.
Mr. President,
Yeah, go ahead, please.
The Lebanese government, so what we saw, is not meeting the terms of the ceasefire agreement, has failed to disarm Hezbollah, actually. In your view, should Israel strike the terrorist organization again?
Well, we're going to see about that. We'll see about it. The Lebanese government is at a little bit of a disadvantage, if you think of it, with Hezbollah. But Hezbollah has been behaving badly, so we'll see what happens.
Mr. President, and China.
Also with another operation of Israel in Iran. You said before the meeting with Netanyahu that you are in support of Israel if the ballistic missile project will take on, and also the nuclear weapon. But after the meeting, after what you know from the intelligence, how close are we to another war with Iran?
Well, I don't want to say that, but Iran may be behaving badly. It hasn't been confirmed. But if it's confirmed, look, they know the consequences. You know, consequences will be very powerful. Maybe more powerful than the last time. Yeah.
Sorry.
And Iran should have made a deal the last time. I gave them the option. I said, you can make a deal. Do it. I told them, do it. And they didn't believe me. Now they believe me.
Do you have evidence that Iran is behaving badly, and what do you mean by that?
This is just what we hear. But usually, where there's smoke, there's fire. Have you heard the expression?
Well, what do you mean related to the nuclear
Well,
capability?
no, I'm hearing that they're not nuclear yet, but maybe nuclear too. The sites were obliterated, but they're looking at other sites. That's what I've heard. They're looking. So it'll take a long time. They're not going to go back to where they were, but they have other places they can go. And if they're doing that, they're making a big mistake. Yeah, please. There's no reason for them to do it.
Mr. President, is the United States currently open to engaging in bilateral discussions with Tehran? We're hearing reports from numerous countries that there may be some discussions. Is that something you would support, or something that is
I would.
You would support that?
I would, yes.
Right now. Thank you, sir.
I have been, by the way, before the war, I would support that. I said to him, baby, I said, let's negotiate. And they didn't believe what was going to happen would happen. Yes, ma'am.
On China. So China's been doing naval exercises basically to test encircling Taiwan. Can you explain to us what your knowledge is of that? What do you think about that? Have you had any discussions with Xi
Well, I have a
about
great
that?
relationship with President Xi, and he hasn't told me anything about it. I certainly have seen it, but he hasn't told me anything about it, and I don't believe he's going to be doing it.
Does it worry you?
No, nothing worries me.
But you
Nothing.
said where there's smoke, there's fire, right? So if you're if you're doing naval exercises and air
I've
exercises,
been doing naval exercises for 20 years in that area. Now people take it a little bit differently, but in fact, larger than they're doing right now. So we'll see. But they've been doing that for 20, 25 years. Yeah.
Mr. President, if you don't see Hamas disarm in that short amount of time they're giving them, can you tell us what the next steps would
It'll
be?
be horrible for them. Horrible.
Okay.
It's going to be really, really bad for them. And I don't want that to happen. But they made an agreement that they were going to disarm. And you couldn't blame Israel. By the way, we have other countries that will come in and do it. They said, let us do it for you if they don't. Countries that were with them wanted the deal to be made, agreed that they would disarm. And now if they say they're going to disarm, that's fine. If they say they're not going to disarm, those same countries will go and wipe them out. They don't even need Israel. You know, we have many countries, 59 countries that are in agreement. This is a real peace in the Middle East. And Hamas is a small part of it, but it's still a part of it. But we have 59 countries that signed on, big countries, countries that are outside of the Middle East, as you know the Middle East. They want to go in and wipe out Hamas. They don't want Israel. They don't need Israel. They want to do it because it's the right thing to do, because they were for the deal based on the fact that Hamas pledged, they swore that they were going to disarm. Now, if they're not going to disarm, those same countries will wipe out Hamas. Yeah.
Do you think that the PA should be involved the day after in Gaza Strip, even in the near future? And the same question to Prime Minister Netanyahu. Do you see a real opportunity that the PA will be in Gaza?
Go ahead, baby.
I think President Trump put clearly the conditions of reform that he wants to see in the PA for them to be involved. And I think he put it very clearly what he wants to see, the kind of real reforms, not just perfunctory reforms, but real reforms. Stop pay to slay, change the curriculum in your textbooks, open up, a different society and a different future if they do it.
In the near future?
Well, let them, I think it was clear. He put
Pretty clear.
He put guidelines that were, by the way, in the Trump plan of 2020. And they were put then in the 20 points, and it's up to them.
Remember this, if we didn't do what we did to Iran, just to make the subject just slightly different, you wouldn't have peace in the Middle East. You wouldn't have a deal signed in the Middle East. You wouldn't have a deal. Because other Arab nations, which are great people, I know them very well, I know them, they're great people. They wouldn't be able to have agreed to peace in the Middle East because you would have had a dark cloud hanging over everything. It wouldn't have been possible. So Iran has been greatly reduced in power, prestige. I don't want to use the word humiliation because, they're trying to build up again. But we can't let them build up because if they build up, there can't be peace in the Middle East. It was a mistake. When they wiped out Iraq and Iran were about the same power. And they fought each other with different names for 1,000 years. And then our country came out and blew up one of those two countries, namely Iraq. And all of a sudden, Iran had the whole Middle East all to itself. But that's not true anymore. That's not true anymore.
Can you tell us something about your plan? Tell us something about your plan to expand the Abraham Accords. If you can tell us something about your plan to expand the Abraham Accords.
Well, the Abraham Accords are great.
Okay, I see a lot of you criticizing Donald Trump, but you're not really saying why. And it's just the name calling. Use your words. Why don't you like Donald Trump?
Achievement of Jared and everybody. I mean, it was one of the great achievements. They'll be expanded. Countries are already talking about expanding it, and they'll be expanded fairly quickly. Yeah, please.
What about Saudi Arabia? Is it still on the table? The normalization?
Saudi Arabia is great. We have a great leader and a friend of mine and a friend of a lot of people. Also an enemy of some people, but those people aren't doing so well.
Okay, some of you are saying great man. What does it sound like? But I don't really see why. Epstein Island, nobody's talking about Epstein Island. I think a lot of you are kind of misinformed because you can't say one reason why you don't like this man.
No, Saudi Arabia has been very good as far as I'm concerned. They've done everything that we can ask for.
But normalization with Israel is on the
They're
table.
getting along great with Israel. They will.
Too much to type.
And
There.
at some point, they'll sign the Abraham Accords.
Mr. President, on the Fed, so one of the big domestic tasks ahead of you is to pick a new chairman for the Fed.
Yeah,
You've said that you have one favorite, but you're
I do.
also doing interviews.
still
So
do. Hasn't changed. Yeah, I'll announce them at the right time. There's plenty of time.
are you, is
But
there
in the
any
meantime,
chance?
we're doing numbers that nobody's ever seen. We have $18 trillion coming in. We had a 4.3% GDP. They thought it was going to be 2%. And that's despite the Democrat shutdown. Had the shutdown not occurred, we would have had an extra 1.25. Think of that.
Now they tried to blame Republicans for the shutdown, but really it was a Democratic thing because we didn't want to. I mean, Republicans didn't want to give in to healthcare for illegal immigrants, but that's another story for another day.
We are doing, and also despite the fact that we have a fool at the Federal Reserve. I mean, Biden reappointed him. It's too bad. You would have thought he wouldn't have done that. But he's an absolute fool who's building a new Federal Reserve, or he's doing a renovation of a building. Maybe he's up to $4.1 billion to do a renovation of a few very small buildings. It's the highest price in the history of construction. He's spending more money than any building has ever spent per square foot on the renovation of, as an example, I'm doing a magnificent, big, beautiful ballroom that the country has wanted, the White House has wanted for 150 years. It's a massive job, and it's a tiny fraction of that number. And we're under budget and ahead of schedule. Now it's bigger than I told you. It's after realizing we're going to do the inauguration in that building, it's got all bulletproof glass. It's got all drone. They call it drone-free roof.
Okay, so your question is: so I'd rather people medical bills be sky high. We already pay for them when they go to public hospitals, when they go to the emergency room. That doesn't mean to give them $1 trillion in healthcare when Americans can't even get healthcare for ourselves. No, I wasn't. I'm glad that
The drones won't touch it. It's a big, beautiful, safe building, but it's a big project for a tiny fraction of that. We're under budget and ahead of schedule, and they wanted it for 150 years. Think of it, the Federal Reserve building, 2 buildings there,
I'm
they don't
done.
know what they're doing.
Okay.
They're way over budget. I mean, this was built during the Biden administration. And I rode by it the other day, and it's headed by the head of the Federal Reserve. Too late, too late, Powell. Too late because he's always too late with interest rates, except before the election, he was too early because that would have helped. That was supposed to help get her elected. It had no impact. We won all 7 swing states.
So what do you
But,
think of?
but no. We're thinking about bringing a suit against Powell for incompetence. Because think of it, these aren't outstanding buildings. These are small buildings. These are $4 billion more. It's going to end up costing more than $4 billion. $4 billion. It's the highest price of construction. Again, Democrats, highest price of construction per square foot in the history of the world. There's never been. Gorgeous monuments are built for a much smaller price. So we're thinking about bringing a gross incompetence, what's called gross incompetence lawsuit. It's gross incompetence against Powell. And it was his baby. And the guy's just incompetent. I mean, there's nothing you can do about it. He's just a very incompetent man. But we're going to probably bring a lawsuit against him. Thank you all very much. I appreciate it. Bibi,
Okay, you guys, let me
congratulations.
try to get to some of y'all
When
messages.
do you expect an announcement then on Powell's replacement?
January sometime.
And will you ask Jay Powell to resign from
Well, he
the
should
board
resign. You're not
entirely?
a favor to the nation. But he's come close. I mean, we're getting pretty close. I would fire him. I'd love to fire him, but we're so close, maybe. But maybe I still might.
Will you sell F-35 to Turkey?
Say it.
Are you
Will
going
you
to
sell
approve a selling of
F-35
F-35
to Turkey?
We're thinking about it very seriously.
And what is
What
your
prevented-
reaction to
They'll
this?
They'll never use it
Okay.
again.
I promise.
And those were the remarks
Okay,
there
guys,
from
that was
President
a
Trump
lot. Let me get
and
to some of y'all comments. Now, I do have to talk about. I wasn't going to, but I still have time. The explosion in Venezuela. obviously. Let me try to get to your comments. I don't know if I. Oh, never mind. My phone just froze. Okay. Hopefully, I can get to it. What did you guys think about that? Now, I see the comments calling me dumb and stupid, but that just makes me feel. Let me see if I can find it. That makes me feel. I don't know. Hang on, you guys. What is it about? If you can't say why you don't like Donald Trump, then I think you're just following the crowd. Let me see if I can find it. And how I can spell it. Oh, here it is. Everything gets just for educational phrase purposes. It's not that much, but let me see. Look at him, so proud. No, like man, you see my streams, they're rough. That stuff don't bother me. Nah, I'm just happy for my. It's your comments. All right, let me shut it down. I can't see you guys' comments right now, so.
Does anybody recognize this man? Not too many people. They've been very fair, actually, for the last 3 days.
President Trump, are you going to have green lights for another attack in Iran?
Yes.
Mr. President, how quickly should the folks move to phase 2 of the peace plan for Gaza?
As quickly as we can. But there has to be a disarmament, that we have to disarm with Hamas. So one of the things we'll talk about, certainly, but there has to be a disarming of Hamas. Otherwise, very quickly, yeah.
Can you say anything more about the explosion in Venezuela that you mentioned in radio interview? Did the military do that? Can you share more details about
Well, it doesn't matter, but there was a major explosion in the dock area where they load the boats up with drugs. They load the boats up with drugs. So we hit all the boats, and now we hit the area. It's the implementation area. That's where they implement, and that is no longer around.
Is that the only strike that the U.S. is trying to
I don't want to comment on that.
President Trump.
Yesterday there was an explosion overnight and the Russians say that Ukraine tried to hit the residence of President Putin. Do you have any information?
No, I don't know about it actually, and I don't. I just heard about it actually, but I don't know about it.
Did you speak with?
That would be too bad. That would not be good.
What was the outcome of your telephone call with President Putin this
I had a very good talk this morning. I waited till this morning because it was pretty late by the time we finished, like 2:30 in Russia, 2:30 in the morning. We had a very good talk. We spoke at 8 o'clock in the morning our time, and it was a very productive talk. I mean, we have a few very thorny issues, as you can imagine. He knows about thorny issues probably better than anybody in the world, but it's working out. We have a couple of issues that we're going to get resolved, hopefully, and if we get them resolved, you're going to have peace. You're going to have Ukraine losing 26,000 soldiers a month. Can you believe it? A month, 26,000 young, beautiful soldiers, and plus some people in Kiev, and relatively small, but a lot, still people, and it's a lot of people. But 26,000 soldiers were killed last month. Yes, please.
President Trump, are you going to allow Turkish forces, and do you expect Turkish forces to be stationed in Gaza?
So I have a great relationship with President Erdogan, and we'll be talking about it. And if it's good, I think that's good. And a lot will be having to do with Bibi. We're going to be talking about that. But Turkey's been great, and he's been, excellent as far as I'm concerned. I don't know about you. To me, he's been very good.
Can you guarantee that? Yes. Could you tell me a little bit about your relationship with Prime Minister Netanyahu and how important it is for you to see him be pardoned by the Israeli president?
Look, he's a wartime prime minister. He's done a phenomenal job. He's taken Israel through a very dangerous period of trauma. Israel with other people might not exist right now, if you want to know the truth. That's a pretty big statement, but it's true. I feel that. You had the wrong prime minister. Israel right now would not exist because they were met with a force the likes of which very few countries could have handled. And we worked together, and we were extremely victorious, to put it mildly. Now I hear that Iran is trying to build up again, and if they are, we're going to have to knock them down. We'll knock them down. We'll knock the hell out of them. But hopefully that's not happening. I heard Iran wants to make a deal. If they want to make a deal, that's much smarter. You know, they could have made a deal the last time before we went through, a big attack on them. And they decided not to make the deal. They wish they made that deal. So I think, again, they should make a deal. They want to make a deal, but sometimes that doesn't happen. Yeah, please.
Mr. Trump, America 24 News Israel. Would you support the overthrow of the Iranian regime?
Who?
Iranian regime.
I'm not going to talk about overthrow of a regime. It's, they've got a lot of problems that are in. They have tremendous inflation. Their economy is bust. Their economy is no good. And I know that people aren't so happy, but don't forget, every time they have a riot or somebody forms a group, little or big, they start shooting people. They kill people. And the people tend to, I've watched this for years, there's tremendous discontent. They form 100,000, 200,000 people. All of a sudden people start getting shot. And that group disbands pretty quickly. So I watched it for years. They're vicious people, yeah.
Mr. President, will you support an attack, Israeli attack on Iran if Iran will not have a deal? If Iran will continue with their ballistic missiles and also nuclear weapons?
If they will continue with the missiles, yes. The nuclear, fast. Okay? One will be yes, absolutely. The other was, we'll do it immediately.
Mr. President, one of us from Channel 12 News. What are your plans regarding Gaza for the next few weeks?
Well, we're going to be dealing on Gaza. That's why this very great prime minister is here right now. We're talking about Gaza. We're talking about a lot of things. We have about 5 major subjects that we're discussing, and Gaza will be one of those subjects.
Mr. President, can you guarantee that the last hostages on Philip will be released before we continue to the second phase of the Gaza plan?
Well, let's put it this way. Every hostage just about that's been released was released because of me, Steve Witkoff, Jared Kushner, my whole team, Marco Rubio, Pete Hegseth. They were all released because of us. None were released in the Biden administration. None. They were all released because of us. Then we had a lack of releases with respect to the dead. And all of a sudden they started coming back because I said, nope. You said you could do. We have one wonderful young man whose parents are right now inside. And he's what beautiful parents, a beautiful brother, sister, and like a beautiful family. And they're waiting for their son. It's the only one left. And we're doing everything we can to get his body back. And the parents just said, hopefully he's alive. And I said, I'd love you to think that way. Okay?
President Trump.
Everything we can.
Do you have President Trump?
Out of all of these people, and I'm not just talking about the final 20.
Right.
Look at all of the people. What do you think the total number is?
255.
255.
254 came out. One more.
Thank you guys for your gifts. I really appreciate you. I see you guys in the chat. Thank you.
Think of that. And we got them all.
President Trump. President Trump, does the reconstruction of Gaza? President Trump, does the reconstruction of Gaza? Does the reconstruction of Gaza will begin even before Hamas is disarmed?
I think it's going to begin pretty soon, yeah.
Before
He's looking forward to it, so am I. Look, what a mess. What a mess it is. And it's been a mess for centuries.
Christopher alone. Yes, you guys double tap the screen, show some love. I'm gonna give my commentary right after this, okay?
It's been a mess for a long time.
Thank you, Christopher.
It's,
Thank you.
Seems to be
mean,
born for
Christopher.
that, but we're gonna straighten it out. No, we're already starting certain things. We're doing things for sanitary conditions and others. But Gaza's a tough place. You know the expression, it's a tough neighborhood. That's truly a tough neighborhood. Yeah, you had a question in the back? Go ahead.
Thank you, E. Tao. I see you.
Yeah, please, go ahead.
I'll ask you about the relationship between you and the Prime Minister.
What about it?
They said that there is no relationship, good relationship with you.
I don't think it can be better. We just won a big war together. You know, if we didn't beat Iran, you wouldn't have had peace in the Middle East because nobody would have been able, the Arab countries who have been fantastic would not have been able to make a deal. If we didn't wipe out their nuclear, we wiped it out. If we didn't wipe out with our beautiful B-2 bombers, if we didn't, and we sent a lot of Tomahawks in there also, by the way, from a submarine.
And what about the pardon that the president of Israel needs to give the Prime Minister?
Pardon? I think you will. How do you not?
Experiment chat, please.
He's a wartime prime minister who's a hero. How do you not give a pardon? You know, I think it's a very hard thing not to do it. I spoke to the president, and it's on. I mean, he tells me it's on its way.
Can't
do better than that, right? Please.
Can I follow up on Venezuela? Was the facility taken out by the U.S. military, or was it another entity like the CIA?
Well, I don't want to say that. I know exactly who it was, but I don't want to say who it was. But you know, it was along the shore.
Mr. President, have you or anyone in your administration talked to Maduro in recent days?
Well, I spoke to him
Recently?
pretty recent, reasonably, but nothing much comes
Thank
up.
you, Eddie, for the gift. I see you. Thank
You have to
you.
understand what he's done. They've sent
Thank you for the
billions of
flood
dollars of drugs in. But maybe just as bad, they've sent hundreds of thousands of people in from jails, from prisons, from mental institutions and insane asylums. The drug lords, the drug dealers were all sent into our country. But think of it, what he's done. Tren de Aragua, probably the worst gang. They cut off people's fingers. One man made a phone call to complain about them. He cut off their hand. They cut off his hand.
Mario.
Don't ever make a phone call again. We'll cut off your head. After that, we'll kill you, they said. That was in Colorado. They sent in all of the bad ones. They sent in some bad people. And that to me was just terrible. And they send in drugs. Now, I will say this. 97% of the drugs coming in by sea stopped. We're trying to figure out who the other 3% are. They have a hard time getting people to pilot those boats. But 97% of the drugs coming in by the ocean, by the sea, by water, are gone. Every boat that we take out, we save 25,000 lives of Americans. Thank you very much, everybody. We'll see you. We're going to have a big meeting, and we'll see you in a couple of hours if you'd like. And if you'd like, you can come up and have lunch like you did yesterday. Would you like that or not? Do you want that?
I would.
Because some of them think it's terrible. It's a bribe. But, you know, a bribe for $25, I don't know. If you'd like, you can go. And if you don't, you can stand in a driveway and melt. All right? But if you want, will you work on that, Margot?
Yes, sir.
Is Margot doing a good job? She's a star. She's too nice. Her only problem, she's too nice to you. And you're not nice to us, but that's okay. Margot, take them up and have a beautiful lunch, and we'll see you later.
I'm just worried that the strike, the alleged strike on Putin's residents could scuttle the peace.
Yeah, I don't like it. It's not good. I heard about it this morning. You know who told me about it? President Putin told me about it. Early in the morning, he said he was attacked. It's no good. It's no good. Don't forget, you know, the Tomahawks. I stopped the Tomahawks. I didn't want that. Because we're talking about, you know, it's a delicate period of time. This is not the right time. It's one thing to be offensive, because they're offensive. It's another thing to attack his house. It's not the right time to do any of that, and can't do it. And I learned about it from President Putin today. I was very angry about it.
Do you not have intelligence service?
What?
Don't you have U.S. intelligence services that monitor that region very closely? Is there any evidence?
Well, it came out. Well, we'll find out. I mean, you're saying maybe the attack didn't take place. It's possible too, I guess. But President Putin told me this morning it did.
One question, Mr. President. Can you expound on the importance of a strong relationship with the state of Israel? And Mr. Prime Minister, you call President Trump the strongest friend for the state of Israel. You work with numerous administrations, numerous presidents. Can you expound on that and what made President Trump such a strong friend for the state of Israel?
I'll say it again and again and again. We've never had a friend like President Trump in the White House. It's not even close. And I think you can judge that by not merely by the frequency of our meetings, but by the content and the intensity. I think Israel is very blessed to have President Trump leading the United States, and I'll say leading the free world at this time. I think it's not merely Israel's great fortune. I think it's the world's great fortune.
Well, I just want to say that it's very important who the Prime Minister and President of Israel is. We have a great relationship. It was an honor to speak before your leaders. That was a great honor for me. I think it has not happened before, or something they don't. But the relationship's been extraordinary, and Bibi's a strong man. He can be very difficult on occasion, but you need a strong man. If you had a weak man, you wouldn't have Israel right now. Israel would have been, Israel with most other leaders would not exist today. They would not exist. And now they're stronger than ever. Yeah, please.
Are you going to ask Netanyahu to sign this agreement with Syria?
Well, I hope he's going to get along with Syria, because the new president of Syria is working very hard to do a good job. He really is. I know he's a tough cookie, and he's, you're not going to get a choir boy to lead Syria. That's the one thing I will say. So I hope they're going to get along, because I dropped the sanctions on Syria because otherwise they wouldn't have had a chance. We want to see Syria survive. So we're going to be talking about Syria too. Okay. Thank you very much, everybody. Have a good time. Go have a good lunch. Thanks.
After you hear these things, I think better quit now. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, you guys. All right. All right. Let me So that was a lot. Let me get to your comments. Let me find you real quick. Let's see. All right. I can get to the comments on the back. So there's a lot that was going on. It was a really big deal for Donald Trump to meet with the Israeli Prime Minister. In October, it came up with in October with the 20-point peace plan. Donald Trump said he's going to move to phase 2, and it's going to be pretty quickly. And he wants Hamas to disarm. And he says that Israel is successful 100%. But I don't really know about that, because they're not disarmed, and they're still being attacked by the military over there. With President Trump, our relationship with Israel is strong. And we already see the success, because we had the hostages released in Gaza. But I'm interested to see. I don't know if Hamas is going to disarm. I don't know. I'm going to just wait to see what's happening there. And there's just a lot that's going on. Let me get to y'all comments. Crazy people. Oh, darn, I can't see. You still trust the news? It's not that, Mario. It's not that I trust. I just play the news, and I prefer for you guys to make your own decisions. And I just show you guys what's happening. I feel that there's a lot of fear concerning the president. And so I would just rather you hear for yourself. I don't like the way the Republican Party is represented. So, it is what it is. She makes her own decisions. What did you guys think about the... I can't see the comments that are being blocked. So I'm going to assume that my mods are working very hard to block out comments. That's disrespectful. Eat more salads. Okay. You can watch the media and make your own. So I don't just watch the media. I look for what the politicians are actually saying Okay, whether it's Donald Trump happens to be the commander in chief. He's not just my president, he's your president as well. And I darn sure want to know what he's saying. I want to know what he's doing. I talked about Zelensky the other day, the meeting with Zelensky, and Donald Trump is a hardworking president. No president is perfect, but I'm just here to report the news. I'm not here to persuade you to be Republican or Democrat. You know, it is what it is. Dr. Ben-Han, they want me to eat salads. No, he's not. Here's my thing: when you guys disagree, you don't really say why. You just disagree and just call him names. I'm going to say this. The country has been in trouble for a long time. Harris lost the campaign, in my opinion, because she was preaching this open border policy, men playing in women's sports, and men could be women and all of that, and America wasn't going for it. There's a reason that Donald Trump won the popular votes. A Republican hasn't won a popular vote in 20 years. America was tired. This is what they voted for. Donald Trump is doing exactly what he said he would do, and he's getting a lot of pushback. But I really believe that people are rooting for Donald Trump. They're just afraid to do so publicly because Republicans are called Satanists. We're called a lot of things to dehumanize us. But really, putting America first is to make this country strong. But Donald Trump is also going in other parts of the world to bring peace. And again, I'm not here to preach about Donald Trump. I'm just telling you about the things that he's doing for our country, which is a lot. Protecting the borders was my main concern. And there was just a lot of things that haven't been right for a long time. I'm not going to get in how Obamacare doesn't work for most Americans. It didn't work. But I'm not going to want healthcare for people that come into the country illegally before I want American citizens to have healthcare. A lot of people can't afford to go to the doctor or anything else besides flooding our emergency rooms, right? So there it is. Please, King Trump. Trump does not care about America. How doesn't Trump care about America, though? Can you put how? And you guys can disagree with me, but can y'all at least be respectful? I have not called anybody out of their name or, you know, borders here, number one. That's what I was thinking. I live in Palm Springs. I live in California. I'm not far from the border. I went to the border just to film and blog and check it out. And all you can see was people crossing illegally. Border Patrol did nothing. They just looked the other way. And this open border policy, no country has that. It doesn't work. And it doesn't keep the country safe at all. Please don't spam my chat. Let me go ahead and block you. I can't block you. Oh, shoot. I didn't mean to do that. I can't. Oh, ban you. Okay. And I do get a lot of hate for my commentary, you guys, but I'm not the president. I'm just playing what he's saying. All right. I know that, but I'm also following Tyler Robinson. I know that they made a ruling about if there's going to be, you know, they made a ruling in that case, which I am following because we should be allowed to speak. We should be allowed to say controversial things, however distasteful, without losing our lives. And there's just a lot of things that I feel America's lost control over, and I would like to see those things back. I would like to see our country strong and united, and I'm praying for our country and unity. I feel like a lot of people are afraid right now, but you can't really operate that way. Look at what these people are saying. Judge for yourself, vote, and just participate. If nothing else, though, be informed. Be informed. Let Israel fend for themselves, I'll say. Okay, and that's fair. That's fair. I believe we need a strong relationship with Israel. They're our ally, but everybody's going to have a difference of opinion there. I think you're a good American just trying to, hold on. I think you're a good American just trying to educate other Americans. Keep up the good work. Thank you, Luis. That's why I joined the military, because I love my country. When I joined the military, I joined not for the GI Bill or anything else, although that was a nice plus. I joined because I do love the country, and I was willing to fight for our country. Don't be afraid, freedom of speech. I get so much hate, especially being I'm a fool, you see? I think that never mind, I'm not even going to address those kind of comments. I do not have to go along with the popular vote. I get a lot of hate for the color of my skin, not because I'm Black, but because I'm a Black person that supports Donald Trump. I support the president that's in office. I also support the party that fought for my civil rights and fought for our civil rights, because that darn sure wasn't the Democratic Party. Okay? And I'm vocal about it because after I seen what happened with Charlie Kirk and other Republicans, I don't agree with a lot of things that Charlie Kirk said, but I do agree with his right to say it. I said, let me report on the news and bring the truth to people, and they can judge for themselves. Y'all really disagree with me. Crazy spam. Okay, let me get in my chat. I think my mods are working overtime. You guys, if they spam my chat, just block them. You don't got to time them out. Just block them. I'm not trying to gain friends here, although getting friends is nice, but just block them. It's okay. Carcino said all politicians think of themselves. Well, I think you'll have some of that because they want to be reelected or maybe in other parts of the office. So there could be some of that there. But I do think that what Donald Trump is doing, and he's not the only president that's done a lot for our country, but he's the latest president that's doing a lot for our country. And he's doing it despite the pushback. Say no more. Yeah, just go ahead and block them. I can't keep timing them out because I highlight the wrong comments. Erica Kirk never had kids. I'm not a conspiracist. I don't go a conspiracy. She's had kids, and I'm not going to entertain your thoughts. I'm not going to entertain that. So you just wasted my time reading it. Trump hasn't done anything good in his second term. I disagree. I spoke about Trump accounts that's coming next year, which is going to bring wealth to kids that wouldn't otherwise have these opportunities, and he's trying to do something to for generational wealth, which is a big deal, so kids can have opportunities they would not have otherwise had. But you guys don't want to think of anything good. All you want to do, a lot of you, not all, want to poke holes in everything that Donald Trump says and does, regardless of how good. No president is perfect, all good or all bad, but it's very problematic to think that everything a president does is just bad, and to totally agree with everything that a Democratic president does or the left does and say, oh yeah, that's good. I have trouble really entertaining those thoughts. Trump lost 1 million jobs this year. What source did you get that from? Obama is a Muslim. I'm not going to go into that because I'll get beat up in my comment section or my DM. So I'm not going to address Obama. Although I will say that Obamacare was one of the worst things to happen to healthcare. It did not work, and it's very expensive for a lot of people. Okay. I can't get to all your comments. I'm sorry. That's why I'm starting from the bottom up. Bureau of Labor Statistics. I didn't see those stats. I disagree with you. Donald Trump has done a lot to bring jobs to American people, and by getting rid of a lot of illegal immigrants, but some of you are going to disagree with me. Carcino, I know will disagree with me. He's bringing jobs to our country, and tariffs is not a bad thing for the country. Tariffs have brought money into the country. Now, I can say some things that I disagree with Donald Trump, but they're not significant enough for me to really mention because of all the work that he's been doing for this country, and he has not even been in office for a year yet. Now, if you want to talk about some problematic politicians, we could talk about the mayor-elect in New York and stuff like that, but I'm not going to start with Donald Trump there. There are mass layoffs because of DEI cuts. Okay, DEI cuts is interesting. But I'll wait to see if there's anything else about DEI, and then I will get into it from there. I'm not here to convince you guys one way or another, and I definitely don't want to sound like a MAGA supporter. I'm just here to to bring you guys what's happening right now. We could talk about it, but I haven't really given my opinion on anything. I just kind of told you guys what was happening. Tariffs are taxes. But do you really understand them? And it's interesting. You guys don't want to talk about the cost of prescription drugs. How Donald Trump, we paid the highest cost in healthcare and in prescription drugs, which is not fair because in other countries you can get these same prescription medicines for much less. But because it's the United States and they perceive us as this wealthy country, not to mention we're the highest scammed country. I'll get into that another day. But our prescription, Donald Trump is making it so the prescription drugs is less and people can afford it. We should be able to afford prescription drugs and healthcare just like anybody else. Play a tune on that piano. I'm not talking. No. So therefore, again, there's nothing wrong with, and Donald Trump got rid of all the freaking pronouns. Let me tell you something. As much as I studied it because I have young kids, I didn't understand the they and them. I'm darn sure not a they or a them, right? Men are men and women are women. Just bring common sense back into the United States again. We're the only country that came up with all these darn pronouns to entertain people's imaginations. It's okay if you want, if you're a part of the community, but don't make me call you something that you're not. And Donald Trump getting rid of the pronouns because you could lose your job. Oh wait, you guys don't flag me. You could lose your job. Could have by calling somebody the wrong pronoun. So if so. I'm not even getting into the he or the she, but the they or them or seeing yourself as plural. I feel that other countries are laughing at us, and it just made us look weak. It did, and I cannot believe that we even had to debate about men playing in women's sports. Of course, there's still a man, even if that man dresses like a woman. There's still a man, and it could beat us up. I don't want to fight against a man. That almost happened to me at the movies. What part, Casino? You're pretty but delusional. I don't know if that was a compliment or not. You're really showing how little intelligent you are. What did I say that was wrong that you disagree with? What part? We don't need a special bathroom. We don't need a special bathroom. I do feel that there's nothing wrong with having a bathroom for transgenders, but not our bathrooms, not the women's bathrooms. Y'all remember how Planet Fitness got sued because of what happened with the young girl and some transgender and what happened in the women's bathrooms, right? So we're not going to act like things don't happen. I'm not going to demonize the whole community because that's unfair. In that case, I'd have to demonize straight people when they do stuff. I'm not going to do that. But they should, but everybody should be comfortable. Everybody, okay? They isn't plural, whatever. I'm not about to argue that. Read my comments earlier. Okay, I got to use my phone because it's too fast on my screen. Somebody asked me about the Epstein files. I absolutely care about the Epstein files. I don't think that you'll get everything you want out of the Epstein files. You're not going to get the full picture. But what I can tell you about the Epstein files is nobody's talking about Clinton being photographed with the Epstein. When the Epstein files got released, no one wants to talk about that. They want to reflect back to Donald Trump. The survivors from Epstein said that Donald Trump was nice. Donald Trump does not deny being there with his wife, but he was pleasant. He didn't do anything illegal. And if he would have done something illegal, that would have come out during the Biden administration, especially to stop Donald Trump from winning another term, because Donald Trump did have the biggest political comeback in history. Right when they thought they silenced him, he came back, boom. And that's just what it is. Thank you so much for the super, my phone froze. My computer froze. I can't get to it. Hang on. I get to it like this. Thank you, Abraham. Mad respect to your platform. I really appreciate you. Thank you so much. And thank you guys for your support. Thank you guys for your donations because it is hard to make this kind of commentary, but I do appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. Oh, I think, wait a minute. Why do I look so little then? I don't know what I did, but can you guys still see me? My computer is glitching and I look like this small. Y'all can still see me? You can read the title. I don't want to go into the topic. Say that Trump and Epstein's victims. Trump didn't have any victims. If he did, it would have come out already. I'm good. You guys can still see me? Okay, then I'll have to ignore my computer screen. Claude said, Trump, the Clintons, and ex-Prince Andrew were there, so was Chris Tucker. A lot of people were there. I mean, after all, it was an island. He hosted a lot of people, but not everybody participated in that stuff. And I still know that you're not going to get everything that you want from the files. I got to use my phone to see what you guys are saying. Okay, let me start up. Everybody knows Clinton's in the file. Everybody know that. Stop saying Trump got rid of pronouns, too. That is incorrect. You know what pronouns I'm talking about. Abraham. Okay, I have to start at the bottom. Someone is in denial. I'm in denial about what? I haven't even said anything about what you're using pronouns right now. You guys, I'm talking about the plurals and the non-binary type stuff. I'm not about to get into pronouns. You guys are just trying to find something I'm talking about. Pronouns are still alive and active. Yes, they are alive and active. What's my nationality? American. My nationality is I is a pronoun. Okay. Hang on. I got you guys right now. You guys are really beating me up on this pronoun comment. Why are you guys stuck on the pronouns? I'm in denial about Trump and the Epstein files. Show me a source where Donald Trump was sided with one of the girls in the Epstein files. Can you show that to me? I'm not in denial about anything. All right, you guys. So Donald Trump removing personal pronouns. I know what a pronoun is, but you guys know what I'm talking about. And I just feel that you guys are missing what I'm talking about. But, you know, the gender pronouns and all of those kind of things, just keep it in context. Obviously, I know that we have pronouns. We need pronouns. But I don't think that was a bad thing to get rid of, to get rid of that. The email, stop saying Trump got rid of them. Okay. Katie Johnson. Google Katie Johnson. I will Google Katie Johnson. Thank you, Candace. I appreciate you. Stop lying about Trump's connections to Epstein. How am I? Okay. Trump's victim name is Katie Johnson. Is Katie Johnson saying that she's a victim, or are you guys saying that she's a victim? I think that you guys are overly obsessing about that. The victims are naming people and they're speaking, but they're not speaking about Donald Trump. All of the victims said that Donald Trump was very nice to them. So you're kind of drawing your own conclusions, which is why I don't give my commentary on the news. I'll let you guys watch it yourself. I just lost the comment. I'm sorry. Sorry, you guys. It went too fast. You're crazy in denial. She said it. Okay, I'll look it up. Okay, I got homework to do. I'll look it up. Chris, I don't know. Everyone's out for a paycheck. You're delusional. 27K. I don't know what you're talking about. 27K. All right, you guys. Y'all have any other thoughts for me? That's the denial right there. Girls, I think you just want to fight with me. I don't understand. Carcino says Trump wasn't mentioned for doing anything wrong in a foul. That's exactly what I'm saying, Carcino. He wasn't mentioned for doing anything wrong. Katie Johnson, is that the name you told me to look up? I'm going to have to do that and then come back and talk about that. MAGA, everybody. And I'm not MAGA, you guys. So to clear that up, you always say you will look something up and then never revisit the topic. Oh, Poetry, you're back. I have revisited the topic. Maybe you missed the stream, but I have revisited the topic. Maybe it wasn't in a vertical live stream. Maybe it was horizontal with my regular community. But I definitely have revisited all the stuff that I said I will come back to. I'm not MAGA at all. Carcino, no, you're not. But no, I'm not MAGA. But it doesn't mean It doesn't mean I'm not conservative, because I do believe in putting America first. I believe in traditional values and what's best for our country, and the way this country was going, letting anybody in. And the only reason why they will let anybody into the country was to pad the Democratic vote. Because obviously, if you have open borders and things like that, people are going to vote Democrat, and the Democrats know it, and that's the only reason they're pushing for it. They were not pushing for it because it's better for the American people, and that's the thing that I have a problem with: the manipulation of the system. So you support a puff foul? I don't know what that means. People that hate Trump want men in girls' bathrooms. What happened to my stream? I don't know. Hang on, you guys. I don't know why it got so small there, but whatever. Republicans have spent trillions of tax dollars and have Eric Klein. Every president spends a lot of money. Poetry, I can Google Katie Johnson right now, but I will not Google Katie Johnson right now. No one has claimed that Donald Trump has harmed them in those Epstein files. That would be on the news. You have a room IQ for being a Trump supporter. What happened to you pretending? That's not nice. People who support Trump want children to give birth. That's just weird, girls. That's just weird. I just said I'll look up Katie Johnson. But I need to spend some time with that. I do. It was in the news, just not Fox News. I don't just watch Fox News. Okay, you guys, did anybody else hear about Katie Johnson that they're mentioning to me? Because I don't want girls to feel ignored. Let me take a drink of water. I didn't hear her name Trump. YouTube it. I will, but not, yes, look it up. I will look it up. I will look it up. And if I can find something that will not get a copyright, I don't mind doing a stream about the Epstein files, you guys, but I'm covering so many other things right now. You've heard of Katie Johnson? Okay. Donald Trump watched the baby of a 13-year-old get drowned in. You guys are just putting anything in the chat right now. You guys, okay, I get it. You guys don't like Donald Trump. I get it. Nothing will come from the Epstein files. Alvin, I'm trying to tell you. Let me take a quick look. But I'm not going to give commentary on it right now because you're not going to catch me off guard. I have to spend some time with that. Nah, I'm not going to. Sorry, what did you say? There's an unarmed victim that alleges that Trump R-word her. Time Magazine, December 20th. Just alleged. It's alleged. Everybody's entitled to a trial. She claimed Trump R-worded her. Katie Johnson did. She needs to find a way to spin it. Girls, that's not true. I give non-biased commentary. Okay? What would I have to gain by saying that it didn't happen if it happened? I have nothing to gain from that. The wicked hate Trump. You know what's interesting? Trump talks about Christian values, just like Charlie Kirk talked about Christian values and getting married and having strong families. Those are the things they believed in. Strong communities and keeping American people safe is what they believed in. So how can you really argue with that? Non-biased. Stop. Thank you, AC. And I'm hoping my mods take those comments out. You guys, what? I'm chubby. What do you want me to do? Trump is the GOAT woodsman. Okay, shoot, I can't see our comments because it's too fast. Trump is no Christian. Who are we to judge whether Donald Trump is a Christian or not? I don't believe it. Someone is putting her up to it. I don't believe it either. Trump has cheated on every single wife. A lot of people cheat. You don't know if he's cheated on Melania. They have a beautiful relationship. And I don't care. I care how he's running the country. I don't care about people's personal life. Okay? Yeah, I don't care. Is that hard on Clinton? When he had that public scandal and they were harder on the women and they won Clinton, were you guys just as hard? So I'm not a moral police. Donald Trump. Okay. Comments going crazy. Christopher, I can't even catch him. My money doing good. Trump ain't costing me no money. He's 100% cheated on Melania. Before you talk about Donald Trump, tell me about Bill Clinton. This is a soap opera of politics. Alvin, I'm trying to tell you, Trump will have a third term. Wisman, as much as I appreciate the things that Donald Trump has done for the country, even I can say Donald Trump, after this term, rests. It would be interesting if he was vice president for J.D. Vance. I think that would be a power team. J.D. Vance, I'm looking at for 2028 so far. I think that would be really campaign. I'm worried if we get a Democratic president, what could happen to this country? But I'm not here to really talk about my political affiliation. But it would be interesting to see JD Vance for 2028. I'm worried about Newsom. That's who I'm worried about. Newsom. I've seen the devastation that Gavin Newsom has done in California. I live in California. I'll be very worried if he, who is very liberal, ran for presidency. Oh, my mods are working so hard. Thank you, Claude. Thank you, Dr. Manhattan. Did you hear how bad he sounded today? You realize Obama was a Democrat? You didn't just hear me criticizing Obamacare and all the phones and stuff we're not about to get into Obama. Why would you bring up Obama to me? We're talking about Trump. Yes, I realize Obama was a Democrat. What does that have to do with me? Because I'm Black, you think that no, I'm going to vote for the best person that's in the country. Obama has a 12% approval rating. Trump has a 71% approval rating. I'm pretty sure Trump could say, oh, Candyman. Gavin Newsom is fantastic, according to whom? It would be very scary for our country if Gavin Newsom was to win 2028. Thankfully, Donald Trump still has 3 years to do a lot in this country. Donald Trump is already doing so much and working hard to bring peace, not just to the United States, but in a lot of other areas. He's doing what he needs to do for human rights, and that's definitely admirable. Donald Trump has done a lot this first year. All of a sudden, oh Lord, Trump, Gavin Newsom is a piece of, yeah, he's scary. He's done a lot. You guys seen the fires up in California. There was no reason. We just didn't have enough water because of Newsom to put out the fires that happened over in California, okay? Which was not far from where I live. Thank you for your service. Are you talking to me, Michael? If you are, thank you so much. I would never vote for Gavin. All right, Casino. Trump's own base doesn't even like him. You guys, let me, how did I even get on this Katie Johnson? I made myself a note to actually look at this, but there's just a lot. But you guys didn't even talk about Trump meeting with the prime minister or his meeting with Zelensky. You keep going back to the Epstein files and other things that really does not affect how America is being ran today. That's a whole separate issue, or the things that Donald Trump is doing. I haven't heard anything about the prescription drugs, the war on drugs, and stuff like that. And I'm just kind of concerned. I think that we're missing a bigger picture and we're being distracted by everything else. Love me some Trump. That's why X-Man. America is suffering, Hannibal. I agree with that. Who gives if he meets with them? He lost 1 million jobs this year. Girls, did you lose a job? Did you lose a job? Because I believe this. If you want to work, you can work. You can find a job. I don't believe in this whole victim kind of mentality where if you don't want to work, you can't find a job. There's something you could do. It may not be the job that you want, but there's definitely a job that you can have. You already see the cost of minimum wage. I live in California, and minimum wage we have one of the highest minimum wage rates in the country. Okay, so people can work, but do they want to? Will you go out and work at a restaurant? Will you go work people can't go to job. He doesn't care about drugs when he's pardoning drug smugglers. You completely missed the point, girls. I didn't miss the point. There are jobs that you can work if you want to. America is a wealthy country, and there's a lot of opportunities here. We just have to take advantage of it. I had to do the work, and if I could do it, anybody could do it. So I'm not about to go walking around saying I can't get a job, and Donald Trump took all these jobs when he's bringing jobs into the country. So I don't see these millions of jobs lost. Tell that to the unemployed people. There are millions of us. I'm not trying to sound insensitive because I know that unemployment is a problem for some people. I just believe that everyone could get a job. Some is an airhead. All right, you guys. Casino, nobody likes me either. So we have that in common. Terrorists are a complete failure. I disagree with that. Hang on, you guys. I got you. Okay. Donald Trump has done so much. The biggest thing for me is Donald Trump securing our borders and our interests. He's really worked hard on that, and he does believe in making our country safe, and that is my biggest thing. So, you guys, there's so many other things that I could talk about, but for me, that was one of the things that scared me the most. That and the men and women kind of thing, because I have young kids, and I wanted to make sure that my kids were safe, and my kids are in sports and I did not want them competing. I don't want my daughter competing against a man. And there's like a lot of other things that we could talk about, but I just try to keep it very neutral and just let you guys make your own decisions. Red states are welfare states. Wow. Well, at least you guys, I mean, and you don't even have to agree. I'm from Palm Springs. You guys don't have to agree with me because, again, I'm not trying to convince you guys on anything, and I definitely don't want you to feel offended by my commentary. I'm just conversing with you guys. Immigrants are not criminals. I don't believe that immigrants are criminals, but if you enter the country illegally, what does that make you, though? A soul sky. I know that it's off topic. Oh, Lord. Let's see. Oh, goodness gracious. Okay, you guys. Let me see. So, did I miss anything? Again, I don't care if you're Republican. I don't care if you're Democrat. I just say, do what's best for you and don't let people make you afraid. It's okay to not go along with what everybody is saying and a lot of the lies that are being presented. I noticed that people from the left are using a lot of insults and criticizing me, but they can't quite say why they disagree, and they can't quite say anything besides, an insult. And when your argument is full of insults, that means that you can't really articulate your point. Hey, Cuban, I see you. Deport Nicki Minaj. So Nicki Minaj should not have. People are saying that Nicki Minaj is going to be canceled and things like that because she supports Donald Trump and she supports JD Vance. And she had that conversation at Turning Point USA with Erica. You guys, what do you guys think about that? I think we are criticizing Trump, not you. Javon, that's cool. That's fine. I think there's something wrong when a person does not go along with another person's ideas, and then we want to cancel them. This cancel culture is actually cruel if you think about it. I have to think like you or I can't be accepted and do my profession. Nicki Minaj is an entertainer. She's an entertainer. So to want to cancel her because she spoke with Erica Kirk, where I don't really understand the backlash that Erica Kirk is getting. Erica Kirk just lost her husband and she's mourning in front of the world as she's leading Turning Point USA to be criticized by someone as big with a big platform like Candace Owens. That's not hard. I mean, that's not easy to do. Nicki Minaj offering friendship. Nicki Minaj has a big voice because, she's a celebrity. And she said, women should support each other. And a lot of people told me about Nicki Minaj's past, but the thing that Nicki Minaj said that stood out to me is you can change your mind. You can change. And if we want to preach about Christian values, well, that says anybody can change. You can change. You don't have to be the same. So for Nicki Minaj to come out here and say, you know what, maybe some of the things that I went for before wasn't right, but she openly supported Donald Trump, and the backlash that she got and losing millions of followers was insane. Because that's almost saying that the Democratic Party is like a cult, and you have to agree with them. Nicki Minaj used her voice to support another woman that was being criticized in the media, and Nicki Minaj knows what it's like to be criticized in the media. That's what I'm going to say about that. Right, D. Trump is an embarrassment. Did you think Biden was? Akula, how are you? Yes, I was a sailor, my shipmate. I don't care about Nicki Minaj at all. I care about Trump adding $3 trillion to the debt. Girls, do you really care about the debt? The United States is allowed to go so far into debt each year. That's not going to go anywhere. Now, some people are talking about Donald Trump and Akula. It's good to see you, shipmate. A lot of people are talking about Donald Trump and this ballroom. Do I agree with the ballroom? That's neither here nor there. He's using his money for it and some private donations. He's going to entertain some powerful people. I kind of hate the timing of it because a lot of people are using that to criticize him, and he has so many other issues and other things that he could be doing right now besides a ballroom, but he's building a beautiful ballroom. Why are you asking me the 3 branches of government? We learned that in elementary school. Why are you, I don't understand, Javon. Did you come in peace or did you come to try to pick my brain on some trivial stuff to get, I don't understand that. She only cares about the debt when the Democrats are in office. No, girls, that's not true. I gave commentary when the Democrats was in office. I covered it. I covered it. Yes, I can answer it, but I can answer it. But my question is, why are you asking me? How about you answer it? He's asking you that because he doesn't believe you know, and I get asked that one a lot, and I'll tell him the same thing I told someone else. You answer the question for yourself. Don't ask me don't ask me anything that we learned in elementary school because I find it very insulting when I'm not talking about the 3 branches of Congress. Like, I'm not asking about that. Okay, Nicole is white too. You guys, all right. Y'all have any other final thoughts? They're eating your time. Akula, I just ignore them. I just come out here to give my commentary. I got asked my nationality, the 3 branches of government, all kinds of stuff, where if you guys want to know stuff like that, you put it in the chat and you ask yourself. Don't come try to pick my brain, but I'm just talking about Donald Trump, even though I did mess up the spelling in my title, meets the Israeli prime minister. That's what I care about. And your opinion of me is going to be, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I'm going to pray for our country and I'm going to continue to pray for you guys. Okay. Akula, how have you been? How have you been? So you guys, hopefully we're still good. Rob, you're good. It's okay to have a criminal as Trump has added to the deficit. Y'all, give me something that I can actually talk about. Oh, Kula. Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Manhattan. All right, you guys. Hey, you done goofed. How are you? What's my IG? My IG is, I'll put in the chat for you. But make sure, I don't know, should I give y'all my IG? I don't know. My IG is, I don't know if y'all need my IG. If Obama, why do you want my IG? I get so many messages with you guys upset with me that it's draining. It's draining. If you actually want to have conversation or something nice like that, I'll give you my IG. But I will block you really quickly if you come in there crazy. Put your IG in your channel page. That's a good idea. Should I put my we could talk shit, mate. I won't drain you. You stalkers. My IG is Nicole Uncensored. That's it. I'm not a coward, but you know. All right, y'all. I'm gonna run. Leave me a comment under any video for the person asking me for my IG, and I will give you my IG like that. Where do I live? California. Why do you ask? I'm gonna run, you guys. Thank y'all for hanging out with me. I appreciate you guys using billions to unalive people starving Gaza. I hear you guys, and I'm not saying that it's not perfect. I'm not telling you guys. I'm not telling you guys that it's perfect. I'm just saying what's happening in the news, and I'm presenting it. I didn't really give my opinion on it. I gave commentary on the news that I watched. There's a lot of work that needs to be done. Donald Trump has not been in office for more than a year, and there is a lot of work. But if we're not aware, then what's going to be done? I think these conversations are healthy. and hopefully it's informative for you guys. Okay, that's what I hope. Eric, it's all good. Mods, thank you guys for helping. Thank you guys for helping me out. I will see you guys later, and you guys be safe. And I appreciate each and every last one of you, even my haters, even the ones calling me dumb, whatever it is. I appreciate you guys that do support me, and I will talk. Dr. Manhattan, I appreciate you. I appreciate you. You guys worked extra hard. Claude, thank you. Dr. Manhattan, prayers for your surgery. I see you. Thank you guys for your donations, and I will see you guys later. Dr. Manhattan, get some rest. Bye, you guys. It's 3 a.m. where you are. Well, welcome abroad. I don't hate you. I'm sad for you. Okay, AC. We'll talk next time. Bye-bye. Oh, wait. Let me block this person. You can't block me for... You can't... Wait a minute. I gotta get you out of here. Poor soul. Spend your time doing something else. I'm gonna get some rest right now. Bye, you guys. I had to block somebody real fast.